Oh, I did it again.
Not quite EB. Guys who didn't work today, Austin had that he didn't work today, and then you Sear Durant, Alex Okafor, Martinez Rankin, and Deion Yelder. Everybody else worked in some capacity. All right, thanks.
Hey, Coach, can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can.
All right. Well, whenever you're ready, we're ready to get started.
All right. Good afternoon or good morning. Good morning. We've had some guys competing their asses off in training camp. It's been a great ride so far. We've had some guys come off of injuries and contribute. Got a few players down, but you know what? We understand, hey, the next man is up. It's been a very competitive camp. Guys are having fun. And I'm just enjoying the energy and the competition between both our units. It's been a lot of fun to be a part of, and it's just been fun to watch. So with that said, fellas, any questions to start?
Let's go to Steve Walls. Go ahead, Steve.
Hey, EB, how you doing?
Doing good. How you doing, Steve?
Not too bad. Yesterday, Coach Tobe and Coach Madison shared with us that Andy always allows his players to have open dialogue, even more so now with everything going on in the country. Being a former player, how much have you shared with some of the guys of your experiences, not only being a black athlete, but also as a black man on and off the field? And also your thoughts on guys using their platforms to bring awareness to social injustices in this country.
Well, first of all, Coach Reed has been the same ever since I've known him. You know, since playing for him in 1999, he was always that way. He wanted guys to allow guys to let their personality show. He wanted the true man to sit there and shine if he had something on his heart and on his mind. One thing with our players, they've done a hell of a job of just expressing to one another, having open dialogue, and I'm very proud of the fact of what we're doing. It's about time that we start having voter registration. How about kudos to Pat, kudos to Tyron, you know, about having the back of the organization with Clark, Mark Donovan, also with Veach. You know, it's just a testament to the environment that we have. And like I said, the chemistry here, and you guys have heard me say this before, it's a unique situation because the guys like each other. We may not always agree, but you know what? They find a way to respect one another and come together with a decision that's going to be best for the organization and for us moving forward.
Let's go to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, Coach. Morning. I was curious about Clyde Edwards-Helaire. We know a lot about the team returning so many guys, but when it comes to Clyde, a big obstacle to getting on the field early is pass protection. Do you guys feel confident in where he's at there now within 2 weeks to go into the regular season that it's going to be okay to protect Pat in there?
Oh, yeah. In fact, I'll say this. Dylan has done a hell of a job, and I'll tell you what, he has a great room of people to work with, okay? So Clyde is not only receiving some coaching from Dylan, he's also receiving some coaching from the veterans Sherm, who's been helping him out tremendously. And then on top of that, you know, he got a bunch of backs that's played a little while. So young Darrell Williams has been outstanding in helping him with his technique and just teaching him all the calls and the things he should expect versus coverages and just certain things that he's seeing. So am I going to say he's perfect? Nah, he's not perfect, but I've enjoyed watching the progress that he has made each and every day. And then when you got a kid that can explain to you why he made a mistake, that's when you know he's getting it. So he's doing a heck of a job. You know, I know he's going to do everything under the sun to help us to do better than what we need to, but also, too, he understands the importance. If you don't protect that damn quarterback, you can't play.
Let's go to Darren Smith. Go ahead, Darren.
Hey, thank you so much, Coach. I'm glad you're
What's going on, Darren? How you doing, man?
Doing good, man. Hopefully look forward to seeing you again real soon. Kind of following up on what Steve had asked, and then a little bit about what Pete was asking. You know, how has it been on football question first? How has it been trying to, see the players in the live atmospheres and practice and stuff, and then what you're seeing during training camp, knowing that you're not going to get a preseason game, and how you make your decision on who makes the final cut. And then also, of course, looking back, of course, you are a black man, that part is obvious, but there are NFL players who have talked about possibly boycotting the first game of the season. Now, I don't know if the players are going to go to that extent, but if the players decide to take a knee, will you, as an individual, as a Chiefs coach, along with your colleagues take a knee with them?
So first of all, to answer your question about training camp, our guys have done a heck of a job. It's been a little different due to the times that we're living in with the pandemic and everything. But the thing that our guys have done a heck of a job of is just improvising and adapting. One thing that we've learned here together collectively as a staff is to remain flexible. That's one thing that you're gonna have to be when you're coaching with Coach Reed. But also too, our players have remained flexible and they've been poised under pressure and they've adapted to the schedule and they've caught on and they've excelled. They've been working their tails off. Like I said, it hasn't been perfect. There's no such thing as perfection. But one thing that we always want to do, we want to strive for perfection in order to achieve excellence. And I think our guys have the focus and the mindset to do it the right way. We got plenty of vets who are guiding us and leading us. Now, we're talking about what's going on in the world. I mean, there's a lot, you know. I'm 51 years old this year. I've seen a lot. I've been around a lot. But here's the thing that I love, that our guys are doing a great job of. There's nothing that gets me more excited than watching what Pat and Tyron have done with the voters registration deal. I mean, that is outstanding. That is huge. That is a huge step in the right direction. We got players donating money in the Black community, making sure that not only that the finances can make a change, but also being there, okay? We got a number of guys who understand the difference between what's right and what's wrong. And I'm gonna say this again, okay? We got a bunch of guys on this team that like each other, that care about one another. We have a great culture and it starts from the top, okay? It starts with a great owner in Clark Hunt, okay? And it just trickles down. It trickles down to Mark Donovan, giving guys a voice, okay? It also trickles down to Brett Veach and the things that he does, making sure that these guys are confident in their actions and what they're doing and what they're saying. But also too, you know, more importantly, it's with Coach Reed, allowing these guys to allow their personalities to show and understanding that regardless of what decisions that we're going to make them together. Those guys are going to take care of that. And we're going to support our players 120% in everything that they do.
We've got 3 hands up. Let's go right down the line. Herbie, Adam, and then Nate. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Coach, always a pleasure. Hope you're well. You mentioned good. You mentioned the COVID environment, and there's 2 questions here. How surprised are you, or how pleased you are that you were able to get to this point where you are 1 day away from wrapping up training camp, and then on wrapping up training camp, what players have jumped out to you and surprised you on offense?
Well, so to go back to the COVID deal, it's been a long off season. It's been a challenging off season. It's been one that, been challenging not only to us here as Kansas City Chiefs, but it's also been challenging to everybody that's experiencing this in this country. And we want to be very sensitive to everybody's issues and what's taking place. Yes, it has been tough. It's been tough with the families, But the thing that I'm proud of is that the organization is finding ways to do it the right way for us, to provide a way. I think what we're doing is a great example for many others to do around the country. And to be here and to have an opportunity to do what we love, I think that's just a blessing, and just the accountability. So far, so good. Everybody has been doing the right thing and making sure that they're staying out of harm's way, because everybody has different issues that they may have to deal with. That just goes to show you the love and the trust that we have from top to bottom, okay? And then just talking about with the players, with training camp, these guys have worked their tails off. I know you guys have heard me yelling and being loud and vocal, yelling all the positive good things and being very supportive. But these guys have worked their tails off, and I'm proud of them. And we're less than 2 weeks away from game day. I couldn't ask, under the circumstances, for guys to come out and do a better job than what they have. Now, we'll continue to work. We're going to continue chopping wood. We're going to continue grinding on these guys, because when it's all said and done with, we want to be at our best when we kick this thing off in less than 2 weeks on Thursday night.
Let's go to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Eric, how you doing today?
Doing good, Adam. How you doing?
Good. Yeah, we've heard you yelling once or twice during practice, so don't worry about it. You came through loud and clear. A couple things for you. Just wondering, with all the unusualness of this season, does this felt like camp to you, number one? And number two, I want to go back to something you said about Edwards-Helaire earlier. You said that, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but you said he can tell you at the end of a play maybe something that he did wrong on that particular play. I was wondering if you can give us an example or two of maybe something that where he did that.
So talking about camp, has it felt like camp? It's felt different. It was an adjustment to start with, especially with the ramping up phase. And you guys got to understand, we're creatures of habit. We've done it one way here since I've been here. And then you guys got to understand, every organization primarily that I've worked under comes from this background. And so when you're used to doing it a certain way, sometimes change is hard. And with everything, with the schedule and how it all worked out, it was challenging, not just for the players, but it was challenging for the coaches, making sure we can get the schedules right, making sure that we're keeping our guys involved and they're understanding that, hey, they have to remain flexible with the schedule. So it's been great because it's helped us to grow. It's helped us, just like I said, it's helped us to remain flexible through it all and to learn how to improvise and adjust. As we do know, things happen in life. You got to be able to navigate your way through that course when things ain't just such a straight and narrow. But your next question here about Clyde, the thing that's important, when you're talking to him, because certain times with technique, he'll go in there and not utilize the proper technique. And that's not what I'm talking about. It's more about, hey, understanding, what did the quarterback call? What did Pat tell you? What did the center communicate? What did the defensive front tell you? What did the rotation in the secondary tell you? And so he's starting to see all of that. And that's when you know, okay, you know what? He's starting to get it. I'm watching him have conversations with those guys. I'm hearing the conversation and the answers and the feedback that he's given to me. And the important thing is not only is he talking to me, but I can hear him talking to Sherm and talking to young Darwin and Daryl. And those guys, they got a nice chemistry. And that's the thing that you want. You want those guys having an understanding on how to fix it and how to make it right. It doesn't always have to come from us. Okay. And that's the beauty of the environment that we have. We have a great culture. These guys are working their tails off. They understand that, hey, regardless of who's in there, okay, we all got to be accountable and we all have to know exactly what we're doing and how to do it.
Let's go to Nate Taylor for the last one. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Eric, I have two topics for you. You may not know all 32 owners, obviously, but what do you think makes Clark such a model representation for where the league should go in terms of ownership right now based on the things that have gone on? And then secondly, speaking of the voter registration, if the Chiefs are able to have Arrowhead Stadium be a place for people to vote, what emotions will that invoke in you if you do see that come to fruition on Election Day?
Okay, so you asked the question about Clark. I mean, let's look at the history. One of the original AFL teams. Look at the names of the people that was drafted here. I mean, a lot of those guys came from historical Black colleges. A lot of those guys have represented themselves not only as excellent athletes on the field, but off the field as commendable citizens. And they're in the Hall of Fame as well. So that says a lot, not only, okay, about Clark, but just the family that he's been a part of. And that's one thing that we appreciate. The Hunts understand exactly what has been going on in this world because they've seen it, all right? They've inherited it, all right? And I guarantee you, when Lamar Hunt was alive, bless his soul, during that particular time, I'm sure he experienced a number of things when he first started off with those particular players playing for his NFL team. So that's what Clark has, and Clark has lived through that. And what better person to be a role model? And then as you talked about, trying to get the stadium here for as a place where people can come and vote, that would be just historical. Why? I just remember growing up as a young kid, when I turned 18, it was two things I was going to do. Well, a few things. First of all, I had to get a job, I had to go to school, I was going to join the service. But on top of that, my mother told me, your ass is going to vote. Okay, you are going to vote because we fought for this right. All right. And how about that? These guys have stood up, okay, and said, hey, let's make this right. Let's make it where everybody can have an opportunity to come to the stadium and vote. This is I'm proud of the people that we have in this building, but I'm also proud of the people that have provided the light and the way for them so they can come out and be free to be who they are and speak freely to the world about what's going on and making a change.
Coach EB, we appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thank you. You guys take care.
You too. All right, guys, we got Frank Clark coming up right behind Coach here. Hi, Frank. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome.
Hold on. Coach is a little short down there.
I think we're okay. Let's kick it off with questions. We'll start with Harold Kuntz. Go ahead, Harold.
Frank, how we doing, my man?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Good, man. I just want to ask this question of actually all the players. A common term around, anywhere you see is a lot of black men say that they're exhausted, they're tired. My question to you is simply, are you tired? Are you tired of everything that you see? And the sports kind of provided a little bit of a distraction for you.
Yes, I am. I got a family, I got kids, man, and they they're gonna be forced to learn about this stuff, and I'm gonna have to explain it to them at some point, in their life. And that's the most difficult part, because that's the most difficult part that I have to deal with. I can only speak for myself. It's because I know one day I'm gonna have to explain this. They're gonna ask, and I gotta really explain it to a point where they understand. And that's the most difficult part, because a lot of this stuff is gonna be hard to, it's gonna be hard to, keep it real and explain them, because I wasn't educated like I should have been, growing up on these things that was happening in times in the past, Rodney King and stuff like that. But it's just having to educate my kids on this stuff, and literally have to, and it's on the internet. This is a world where everything is on the internet now, so they're gonna be able to see it on the internet and see, not just what's going on today, but things that have been going on the last few years, to be more specific. So, yeah.
Let's go to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Frank, good to see you, man. Kind of following up on what Harold just mentioned, a lot of guys on this team have sort of acknowledged sort of the historical moment you guys are going to have to raise a banner on opening night, what that means for the franchise. But also you're going to play the first major football game in the country since the Super Bowl. I just wonder, how much do guys understand the significance of what you guys are going to have in front of you less than 2 weeks from now?
Some guys don't have a clue, because, most of them haven't played on the opening night. You know what I mean? Or, you got guys that's filling in roles and coming in and playing some big games, so it's going to be a lot of pressure on them. But to that, I can say that you got to just take it all in. You're coming off a good season where we won the Super Bowl. Not as good as we should have started the season, but, when you finish winning the Super Bowl, it kind of, takes away all the bad. But we just want to start strong. I feel like we came off of last year starting kind of slow off the success they had the year before. So, and then myself coming in, with everything, all the distractions of getting paid, or, all this stuff going on with the injuries and stuff, me starting slow. Me being a player who I am and me knowing who I am, I can't afford to start slow, because I know it can jeopardize my team. And then with everybody else, it's just pushing our offense to get better, not letting them get complacent and settling into, that complacency thing. And then for us, it's humbling ourselves and understanding that there's more work to do. We understand that we got a great offense, but, we want to be an even better defense. See some more flashes of what happened, towards the second half of that season rather than, the first half.
Go to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Frank. What's going on, man?
How you doing, Sam?
Good. I'm wondering just what sort of conversations you guys have had as players as far as potential demonstrations or protests on opening night.
Oh man, yeah. It's too early for that. I feel like it's been conversations, of course, but it's been a lot of focus on football too. Honestly, we spent so much time away from this and dealing with it. This is something that we're gonna continue to deal with. That's what you gotta understand. That's what I understand. That our country, if they think that another black man isn't gonna get killed by a police officer, I feel like everyone's confused. I feel like if we don't think that it's gonna happen again and continue to happen, we're confused. It's just at this point we have to do something about it. And like you said, it's just we're gonna be confused, man. It's just crazy,
Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Yeah.
Morning, Frank. I have two questions for you. First thing, I was wondering, you had a sickness at the beginning of camp, and I know you had some issues with the stomach last year and even dating back to Seattle. I was just curious, generally speaking, how you're feeling. And then number two, now that you've been with two franchises and you can kind of compare the two after a year, what's the best thing about being a Kansas City Chief?
Man, it's nothing like the competition at practice, just how hard we work. And I've been a part of many football programs, you know what I mean? Not many, but, college and high-level programs. And, man, we work so hard. We work. Andy Reid, he's a hell of a coach, and he pushes us so hard every day. There's guys who practice through injuries and do things that they probably shouldn't do because, and it's all based off us not wanting to disappoint coach or us not wanting to, go out there and not have our teammates back. And I feel like that's important. You got everybody bought in and everybody believing in each other, from top to bottom, from the coaching staff, the front office, all the way down to the players, the staff under us, and even the janitors. Everybody it's all a common goal, and it's all the same goal, and it's all just aiming at winning the AFC Championship.
We've got three more. Let's go Darren, Steve, and then Todd. Go ahead, Darren.
Hey, Frank, how you doing, my brother? Couple of things. I don't know. I don't think you really answered Pete's question. I know you've had, like you said, stomach issues. What is the cause of that, or and how do you work on that? And then the second part, look, I got to ask this because I'll ask others, but you see Chiefs fans, of course, they cheer you on when you're winning and you're leading an organization to a Super Bowl, and they want you to kind of like LeBron James, shut up and dribble. But when you decide to take a stand, and you speak out Black Lives Matter, and you're doing what you're doing with the voter registration, what you did with the 4-year-old that we talked about a few weeks ago. What would you say to those Chiefs fans who just want you to stick to football and not do all this quote unquote political stuff as though you're wanting to do it, but it's being thrust upon you?
I just says it's a place for everybody, man, and sometimes you just gotta stay in your place. Everybody don't have the platform to do what we do. Everyone doesn't have that platform that can reach multiple people and do the things that we do. So I just feel like that, you just got to stand in your place with certain things, man. If you're a fan of the game, you're a fan of the game. You don't got to be a fan of the person, or a fan of that person's personal preference to, what side they on with a movement or what side they on politically. I feel like that's a lot of people's problem because they feel too strong about how another person feels, and they should really be worried about their own feelings. But on my thing with the injury and stuff, it's just it was frustrating because my stomach, man, is I had surgery a few years ago, and just battling through. A lot of people don't know. Of course, I'm not about to go around telling everybody my stomach hurt. You know what I'm saying? I'm sick, all this stuff, man. But I get it just takes a lot out of me. Just physically, it takes a lot out of me when my stomach starts acting up. I had episodes. Basically, it's like I have real bad acid. So when the acid I'm eating food that has acid and stuff like that of that nature, it just builds up, and I gotta take my acid blockers and stuff like that, and my pills and all these different things. And I gotta eat lighter, man. I gotta hydrate and do these things more. So it's just kind of one of those things. When you get out in camp, we go from being at home all day to all of a sudden we out there busting our ass. And eventually things like that are gonna happen. Sometimes, my dehydration is different from the average person's dehydration. I get dehydrated, man. I might need a hospital because I need some IV. You know what I'm saying? I need the right fluids and things like that. So just me being able to get past that, honestly, I got past that, and I had little episodes every once in a while. The last one I had before then was before the Patriots game. So I just had little episodes every once in a while if I don't got my right medication. But we got all that under control. My staff up here, they do an excellent job of taking care of me, man. And hats off to Rick and his staff up here. Oh, Julie too. That's my dog. She hold it down. But yeah, shouts out to them, man, because they did a hell of a job of just making sure, I was good, getting me back out there. And, now I'm rolling, getting my feet up under me. And I'm ready to go into the season, man.
Got the last two. Let's go Steve and then Todd. Go ahead, Steve.
Hey, what's up, Frank, man? How you doing?
What's up with you, bro?
Not much, man. You said you have to worry about your stomach. You also have to worry about explaining to your kids what's going on in today's society. Not only that, but COVID's still out there, training camp, just the racial issues, and most recently Kenosha, Wisconsin. Yeah. So just how hard is it as a Black athlete? Is it for you to go out there and focus on what you need to focus on the field as you're preparing for Thursday night's football game?
I mean, it's hard because all they wanted to do is play football anyway. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you know, you have a job, and you have to. It's your duty to. You have a contract and you have a job. When you have a job and you have a contract, you know it's your job. You know, to finish that. So whatever it pertains to, if they tell you got to be somewhere, if they tell you got to do something, you got to do it. The frustrating part is when you want to speak out about certain things, or you want to use your voice and your platform to speak out about certain things, and you don't have the courage to because of, you know, how something in that organization may be ran or how you may feel, you know. So it's kind of hard, but like I said, when you can take small groups and you can take your people who can reach certain other groups, you know what I mean? You can educate your children, you can educate the people who might not understand, your homeboy in the hood who might not be watching TV or understand what's really going on. When you can understand when you can make them understand it a little better from, you know, your point of view on the level of which you're on, you know, I think that's where you start. It's controlling what you can control, and that's the person next to you, you know.
Let's go to Todd Lebo for the last one. Go ahead, Todd.
Hey, Frank, you've been in the league long enough in a couple of different organizations here. Do you think the league is in a better place as far as these social justice issues go than it was when you first got into it? Have you seen any progress the last few years, and are you hopeful for the future?
I mean, you see actions and people doing things and try to do things, and you know, you see protests, you've seen peaceful protests, you've seen every different type of protest you can see, but it still hasn't been nothing that's changed. I feel like that's society, though. It's going to be hard to see change when, you know, the action to start it and the things that's leading up into it doesn't change. You got a lot of laws in place that protect certain groups of individuals, but at the end of the day, like I said before, you can control what you can control. You got to do more of that.
Frank, we appreciate your time today. Thank you.
I appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all.
All right, guys, we got Rashad Fenton coming up next. Hey, Rashad, can you see and hear us okay?
Yeah, I can see and hear.
All right. Well, we are ready to get started, and let's start with Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Rashad, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, Adam. What about yourself?
Good, thank you. Just wondering what parts of your game you feel have come a long way since maybe end of last season. Do you feel like there's some areas of your game that you've really worked on and tried to improve, and it showed up here in camp?
Of course, just more so just learning the defense, getting a better grasp of the defense and how everything is flowing, not just my parts, but also the other players I'm on the field with.
Let's go to Harold Kuntz. Go ahead, Harold.
Hey, Rashad, I'm going to ask the same question to pretty much every player today. Obviously, in light of everything that's been going on with not only Jacob Blake's shooting, but everyone that's happened in the last, hundreds of years of society, honestly. There's a common expression going around that everyone says that I'm exhausted. I'm tired. How tired are you?
You too tired. You know what I mean? It's just the fact that can be my father, that can be my uncle, that can be me. You know what I mean? So just putting that into perspective of just treating everyone equal, man. I don't know why it's so hard. Why it's the discussion to get treated fairly.
Let's go to Herbie Teope. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Rashad, hope you're well.
Doing great.
You saw some action on defense last year. You saw some action on special teams. I think you played like 30% of the special team snaps last year. You're probably in line to see a lot of action to start the year with the Rashad Breeland suspension. How do you feel your time on special teams helps you as you prepare to probably assume a bigger role this year?
Special teams help me get my edge. It helped me fill out the energy. It just helps me defense wise in general. You got to start the game off and finish the game off with special teams. So being on that special team, you're special, and it just helps me. Like, I don't know, it just bring out more fuel after you then did a special teams rep or just did anything special teams wise. It's great.
Todd Levo. Go ahead, Todd.
Rashad, you're a younger player in the league. When you were in college and a lot of this demonstration when you first started in that what were your thoughts about that as a young player, and how much have you kind of moved through evolving your thoughts on those things as you become a pro? And what do you think is going to maybe happen when you guys hit the field on that Thursday night against the Texans?
I am a young player, so Mr. Kaepernick was demonstrating them type of things. I was at the University of South Carolina, and there was some things going on there as well. They still had the Confederate flag at the State House when I was a freshman there at Carolina. So it was a real eye-opener. I'm coming from Miami, Florida, where it's a real diverse place. It's a melting pot. Everyone treats each other equally there, and that's how I was born and raised. Down there, it's hard to point fingers at anyone because your parents wasn't even born here. You know what I mean? So it's just goes to say whatever you want to represent, it's a free country, man. I can't hate one man for being different than me or demonstrating anything different. If that's what you feel you need to express yourself on as a man, you should be able to do so without any judgment. And that should just go a long way. And just to go so with us, I feel like this team is built on, it's a unity. We are a brotherhood, and everything we sticking strong with what's going on in society. So I feel like everything that just goes smoothly. It won't be too much of a chaos here. I don't think we all have the same vision here.
We've got time for two more quick ones, guys. Let's go Pete and then Sam. Go ahead, Pete.
Morning, Rashad. We had an opportunity to talk to Sam Madison yesterday, and he said that coming into camp, you knew that you'd be more of a dual guy, inside, outside. You played a lot of inside last year. You're going to be a critical part of this team considering you're doing both things. Just how has that gone this training camp? What's made you feel confident that you'll be able to pull that off going into the regular season?
It's going good. My coaches prepared me for this moment. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Off season wise, of course, I had to take things into my hand off season. But just like last year, man, when my number's called, I'm going to do my job well done. From Miami, Florida, I'm prepared for whatever the coaches have for me. Whenever my number going to be called, I'm going to be ready to do it to the best of my ability. That's all I can do.
Go to Sam McDowell for the last one. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Rashad, just to build off of what Pete just asked you, but you played a lot of slot cornerback last year. What are the different challenges of playing inside compared to, I know you played a lot outside in college.
You just messing with different receivers, different frames. Got to be more cautious, of course, when you're a cornerback of splits, just what ball that hash is on. It's more so just understanding the game on a different level when you at corner. And, of course, if you're inside, you got to worry about run game and et cetera. So just those little aspects alone, you just got to be more cautious about when you're aligned.
Rashad, we appreciate the time today, my friend. Thank you.
So I appreciate that.
All right, guys, hang tight. We've got Tommy Townsend coming up next. If you want to put your hands up, you should be walking in the room now. There he is. Hey, Tommy, can you hear us okay?
Yeah, hey there. How's it going?
Good. Well,
okay. I wasn't sure if I had to have it down or what.
Let's get started, and we'll start with Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Good morning, Tommy. We haven't talked to you in a long time. Just generally speaking, wide net here, how has training camp gone, and what makes you think you're ready for your first professional opportunity here?
Yeah, training camp's been awesome so far. I mean, it's super exciting. I mean, it's my rookie season, rookie training camp, and obviously it's not how I would have expected my rookie training camp to go as far as all like the COVID precautions and stuff like that. But Our staff's been doing a great job of, keeping us socially distanced and keeping everybody safe. But yeah, no, training camp's been going great. And, I'm really excited to get going for the season.
Let's go to Todd Lebo. Go ahead, Todd.
Tommy, we've been asking a lot of questions of players about the social justice issues. You've probably got a unique perspective. As a white guy who's a young guy who hasn't been in the league, what sort of conversations have been like? We heard Coach Madison say a lot of conversations around the lunch tables and stuff you guys are all having. What have you learned? What have you kind of taught people about your upbringing and kind of, getting along with everyone? Has it been eye-opening for you?
Yeah, definitely. The biggest thing for me, I think, is just listening and learning from my teammates. It's always good to step back and learn. And I think that's been something that's been happening a lot, recently. And our vets and team leaders have been doing a great job of, bringing awareness and doing everything we can to start moving forward and create change. So that's something I'm looking forward to, just, keeping the discussions going and just continuing to learn.
Go to Harold Kuntz. Go ahead, Harold.
Hey, Tommy. Hope you're doing well, man. My question is pretty much the same question I've been asking of every player, and that is, you see the news, and it's hard to kind of stay off of social media, seeing stuff that's happened with, George Floyd, Jacob Blake, and everything that's happened in the past 4 or 5 years. Common expression a lot of people use is how tired they are, how exhausted they are. How tired are you, and how exhausted are you of seeing all this in the news?
Well, this is something that's very new to me, and it's something that is, a lot of light's being shed on it now. So I think it's definitely something that it's sparking, inside of me, that's making me want to go forward and create change and do what I can to help out. But yeah, it's a lot of the stuff going on. It's just it is tiring. I mean, even this short period of time that I've really been seeing it on social media, it's exhausting to see. And I hate seeing it, and I hate seeing how it affects my teammates and how it affects their families. And it's obviously not right, and it's something that's we got to do better at, and we got to change.
And McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Tommy. From the outsider's perspective, it seems like the punter's job, making the transition from college to the NFL, doesn't really change all that much. But you're living it right now. What does change when you make this next step here?
The biggest thing is scheme. In college, we usually have spread punts, but we're using the pro punt formation, so it's just a bit different. I'm used to having shields and a couple O linemen as blockers, 7 yards in front of me, and now it's a little bit more open. And also, just the speed of the game. Everybody in the NFL is super talented, and they're great players and they play hard. So I think that's the biggest difference, is just, talent all across the board. It's just, it's tremendous. So it's just, just being ready and staying on my toes.
Looks like we've got 2 more. Let's go Adam and then Lynn. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Tommy, how you doing today?
Doing great. You?
Good, thanks. A couple things real quick. First of all, when you got here, obviously the Chiefs had Tyler Newsome as well. What was that like when you heard that the Chiefs had let him go and you were going to be the only guy left here in camp? And number 2, you're going to be playing Baltimore here in a few weeks. If Johnny sticks around, what's that going to be like playing against him for the first time, I think, right? Yeah. And who are your mom and dad going to be rooting for that day, that night?
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess, to take a couple steps back and answer your first question, nothing really changes for me. I'm still preparing the same way. I'm still, on my toes, just trying to go out and perform the best I can and just keep getting better every single day. Since, like I said earlier, the NFL is, completely different. And, I'm just trying to learn as much as I can, as fast as I can, and, continuing to progress in, in everything I can do, whether it's punting or, holding with working on my holding with James and Harrison. Just trying to continue to move forward there. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens when it comes to Baltimore. I'm definitely excited for that. We had a little bit of that back in 2015. I went to Tennessee my freshman year, and we traveled down and we played at Florida. So I got to play against Johnny then. So that was a cool experience. But I'm excited to see what happens. it wouldn't be a bad thing if I saw him on the field. But can't say my parents would go for either of us. I'm not sure. I think they'd be split between them. They're both tremendously supportive. So I don't know. Dad might be in one jersey, mom might be in the other. Who knows?
Len Jennings to close us out. Go ahead, Len.
Hey Tommy, Dave Toad talked, I think a couple weeks ago, about how you were on his radar during the combine, but he also talked about how he was impressed with you working with James and Harrison. How important has it been for you to work with those guys and developing that relationship, and some of the things that you're benefiting from James and Harrison, what you learned from those guys working with them?
Yeah, that's been the biggest thing, is just learning from them. They're both veterans in the NFL now. They've been super successful in what they do. So it's just sitting back and learning as much as I can when I can. I mean, I talk to James every day about what, stuff that I can do differently when, in punting, and same thing with talking to Harrison, just trying to figure out what I can do to, help him out the most, and help him make him the most successful kicker, he can be. So yeah, it's just, it's a process of continuing to learn, like I said, as a rookie. So I'm excited to keep progressing and keep moving forward, and, take it into the season.
Tommy, we appreciate the time today. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. That is it for today. I'm